Is there a downside to shooting hot loads? When we went to the range with my alien, the 127 grain bullets, I think we did like 4 or 5 or 6 mags of those, and there wasn't a single jam. So is there any downside at all to just 124, I think.
Does anybody know? Or maybe Brenda? I mean, yeah, I mean, I would be down to talk to Destiny. I mean, I don't know when he streams. Yeah, today's actually a day where I would have 1,000,000% been down. I should have DM'd him. I was hoping he would have just been live. I thought he streamed every day. He goes live when Asman goes live, but that's when I go offline. That's so unfortunate, dude. That's so unfortunate. He's too busy sucking off Nick Fuentes. I
can't tell if he's trying to Asman gold me or... On the 28th, I said, I can chat whenever you want. He said, hell yeah. And then I said, when do you want to talk, baby? And he said, gotta figure out a day to not be live on Twitch. Let me crush out some videos tomorrow, but within a week for sure. And then the next day I said, sure thing, no rush. That was on the 29th. Wow, thanks, Gunk. Oh, also, I feel like I kind of thought about the gerrymandering thing. I feel like I have a fix. I feel like I have an easy fix. This is for the State House. Is there an easy way to see the like total votes for Dems and Republicans? Like if I wanted to see the totality of all the Republican votes for a representative and a totality of all the Democratic votes for representative, would that be easy to see? I'm trying to use Ballotpedia because it's supposed to be like the election Wikipedia thing. And you guys keep linking Wikipedia. But I feel like Wikipedia's information is sorted better sometimes. I can't advocate Ballotpedia for shit. I do not get it. Yeah, I have that problem too. Okay. So for the House elections, it was 58.4 points to 40.1 points. What if they set a rule for districting in states? Because I feel like there are very difficult questions about how to district, right? Because, like, in an ideal world, like, let's say that you have, like, a city, okay? And let's say that the city has, I mean, ordinarily, you wouldn't maybe necessarily district by city, but like, let's say in a city, let's say we have a huge city, okay? Or maybe we can call it a state. Actually, fuck it. Let's just say we have a state, okay? Let's say in the state, let's say that we have like the forest sector. Let's say we have like the industrial sector. Let's say that we have culture sector, so like arts, entertainment, whatever the fuck else. Let's say that we have, we'll say then, and also the agricultural sector, I guess, I don't know. Let's assume that the geography is even. Let's assume that the population is even. Like, I think in an ideal world, okay? In an ideal world, you would like the districts to be drawn up in such a way that the people in these districts feel like they have a representative who represents their interests in the United States federal government, okay? So when it comes time, not just for your state, but for your particular district, right? So let's say that there is a, what did I do green here for? I did agriculture down here. Did I say forest? I don't know what the fuck this is, whatever. But let's say that there's a bill before Congress. Let's assume we're not hyper-polarized and everything is super partisan now. But let's say there's a bill before Congress, and this bill has to do with industry. And it's about taking away maybe a little bit of extra funding from the forest and giving a little bit more funding to the industry, right? Well, even in your own state, there might be conflicting interests here, but you have you've got 2 representatives from the industry sector, and you would expect them to almost always vote in favor of industry, especially for the state of A, okay? This is A state, and these guys are always going to vote for industry. And generally, your state reps, maybe, at least by party, will vote together, but maybe they might split sometimes because maybe the state A forest representative wouldn't vote for that because it'd be bad for that, right? So, like in a perfect, ideal world, we would like our districts to be representative of real things. Now, obviously there's a million different conflicting things for how to draw districts and to gerrymander. And so some people will just say we should have fair districts. However, when people say fair districts, I feel like they usually imply that the districts are drawn in a way that geographically makes sense. However, since I think liberals tend to live in more liberal concentrated areas, drawing quote unquote fair districts, I think would actually punish liberals unduly. You run into this area where if the liberals all live in areas that are 80-20 liberal conservative and the conservatives all live in areas that are 60-40 conservative, you run into a weird world where you've piled so many Dems into one district or into these districts that you're kind of like fucking yourself by drawing fair districts. So there's this huge question of like, well, how do you draw fair districts? Like, what is a fair district? How do you draw any of these at all? And I feel like one thing that could maybe help is you eliminate every single rule about drawing districts and you allow states, listen, draw them however you think makes the most sense. Do whatever the fuck you want, apportion, whatever you want to do. However, at the end of the day, the registered voters have to be represented in terms of the, like, total makeup of your districts. So in Texas, it's basically a 60-40 state. If Texas has 38 representatives, and you can have a small margin of error since it doesn't always work out well, right? But we'll say 38 representatives, 60%. So however you draw the districts, you can draw them however you want. But there should be, at the end of the day, there should be 23 Republican seats, and then there should be 15 Democratic seats. And then as long as you like maintain that, then you can draw whatever the fuck districts you want. It doesn't matter. And then you have, and I feel like that eliminates the question of, well, what's fair? Because you literally have the population apportioned in such a way that you're not like losing a bunch of votes or losing a bunch of what people who probably wouldn't feel represented as much. Obviously, this will never happen in the United States of America. There's a waste of time to think about this, but you can do it statewide proportional without districts at all. So the reason why I think you need, ideally, it doesn't matter as much politically now because we're so fucking partisan, but I think ideally you want districts is because you do theoretically have different interests even within a state. So you might not want the same representative representing all the districts when different districts could have different interests against each other. Like the interests of all the districts in a state might not necessarily always be aligned, right? So like in California, you have Silicon Valley, I imagine, has a ton of interests around technology, but there's a huge agriculture sector in California that might not have the same interests around technology. And when votes come up before Congress, there might be things that favor Silicon Valley or favor tech more than ag or favor ag more than tech, and your interests might not be aligned there. So you don't just want one giant pool of representatives voting for you. You might want different representatives that represent different areas, you know? Do the electoral college system? Sure, I guess. But I see some of these are kind of like crazy. Is this actually accurate? Wisconsin has 8 representatives. The vote is almost 50-50 in the state, and it splits 6-2. Are there any states that are like very like democratically gerrymandered? Oh, I like that too, actually. Somebody said, you can do districts, but then balance the scales with a few seats that auto go to whoever has the largest unrepresented voter share. That would be interesting as well, I think, actually, yeah. Illinois House seats Wikipedia. Fuck it, we're just using Wikipedia. Fuck Wikipedia. They need to figure their shit out. Damn! Okay. Oh, this is pretty gerrymandering. I wonder who makes out the... Has anybody done the math on, like, if you add all the Republican and all the Democratic voters in the country to see who gets fucked the most, I guess, on proportion? Oh, that's... Well, but there's two different measures of that, though, because you can do a within-state measurement, and you could also do an outside-state measurement, because technically larger states are disfavored a little bit in the House, and smaller states are favored a little bit in the House.
All we need to do is change that panel. Instead of a smooth curve that crosses 50% at the popular vote, we set up this crazy skewed distribution that clusters one party into a few dense districts, and the other party then just barely wins all the rest. This is a relatively normal looking 11-2 red map, giving a slight majority a significant majority. And this...
Is it just a standard gerrymander thing, or what do you... Why'd you link me this?
This is a pretty normal looking 8-5 blue map. Gerrymandering can even give a minority a significant victory. Granted, you can't ask it for too much while still maintaining that all the districts need to be somewhat normally shaped. It won't actually complete.
It's optimized but plausibly deniable gerrymandering. Oh, okay, sure.
This is a simulation where I tried to give the blue minority 10 of 13 seats, and it just didn't work. You can see that it's trying to rearrange these districts, and these numbers will just not go down. If you wanted to incumbent gerrymander, where you remove swing districts entirely, but keep the party lines fair.
Okay, I hate geography. Is this a real state? North Carolina? What an awkwardly shaped state. Okay. Wait, I've been over here. Oh, I always forget the name of the city. Wait, where did it go? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, Gatlinburg, I think? Wait, is that the name of a region? Oh, Jesus. There it is. Jesus, fuck. Me and Mel went to some mountain thing here. This is probably one of the most beautiful places I've been on Earth. There's a lot of really pretty stuff in the United States. I guess I take it for granted sometimes. I notice that sometimes when I drive up in like way out in it's people call it the DMV area, I guess, where Tim Pool lives. Although it's more out in Virginia, I think. But we have a lot of like really cute, cool natured stuff. But anyway, there's like you can see if you go up on, I don't remember what the fuck the name of the city was. It's like a tourist, you would call it like a touristy city because there's like this little treetop thing you can go on. But the forests are actually, they like, oh yeah, or Anarchista? Is that it? That looks right. The only cringe thing, this is the thing I was describing. The only cringe thing is there's like speakers that play music to remind you, I guess, that you're in nature. This lady looks like she's gonna die. But the yeah, the mountains and the trees or whatever are super, super, super beautiful out here. They're actually, they like glow blue. It's crazy. Okay, no one cares. Nature's gay.
There's a map for that too. In this map that looks pretty normal, except for Charlotte, sorry Charlotte, the overall election results in a 6 blue seats, 7 red seats distribution, just like it should, but no individual race was decided by less than a landslide 13.2%. At this point, it's all pretty pointless. So now we need to ask, how does this program actually do what it does? What are the magical metrics that I'm using to effectively tug on the wires while I shake the map? Not this metric, not this to effectively.
Do you think these guys could be related? No. Mr. Beat in it? No. Forgot I said that. I'll just delete that part of the VOD. Nope, not even close. Just kidding. Sorry, I got... Listen, the reason why my throat has been sore so much is what I do is every morning I scream, the N-word of course, into the wall for like 10 minutes because I hope to one day achieve, naturally, the same level of Riz voice that Hassan uses every time he goes on shows.
Making a criticism of American imperialism in other instances is quite literally defending American imperialism, but
he's
it's
not really
never
doing it here.
not political. That's what they were trying to point.
I saw a clip of him on my sub on this interview, and he was talking about like the
Political worldview. The reason why I consider
Wait, somebody said Justicles resorted to defending Mike from PA?
That I don't think is anti-Semitic, but if you've had the argument and like actually talked to somebody about it, then you should probably know, hey, people will call this anti-Semitic, it's gonna look bad. How do you defend that? I'll explain. Is this the Khazar BS? Yeah, basically. And I'll talk about it. How is it not anti-Semitic? Because I think there's like an argument around some of this stuff, but it's...
Okay, I actually don't care at all. I'm sorry, I don't know why I act like that. Okay, all right. I went to the Houston event, and I gotta say, I was really surprised at the vibe there. Is it always like that? Like, even the security guards are cracking up. What, like, jovial? I mean, we're just there kind of, like, goofing off, right? Although I will say you guys were kind of mean. It takes a lot to go up, I think, in front of a hostile audience and argue with me, like I get perhaps people do. You guys were a little mean, although I guess, I mean, it's kind of the event. I don't know. Do you see crystal balls on the majority report? God, no.
To cancel. I kept waiting for them to cancel leading up to the interview. I was like, there's no way they go through with this. But originally, I was going to just do the interview solo because it's sometimes better. A one-on-one dynamic can be better than you're not worried about like stepping on each other. And also, it's kind of an intra-Democratic Party thing. So that just sort of made sense. Her staff was really adamantly opposed to that. They wanted Sagar there because they didn't want the appearance. This is what they told our producers. They didn't want the appearance of a softball interview. I was like, girl, you don't need to worry about that. Be careful.
No. Something that triggered the fuck out of me. I only skimmed through, and maybe, dude, no, they're not. We have to let go of Kyle. I know it hurts. I'm sorry. I don't want to be contrarian and mean to everybody, but like these two are lost. These two are not on our team. because she mentioned this, and I think even I saw people in my chat saying this. Well, she's an independent and she gives tough interviews. That's what she's known for. But then I think people linked her doing, was one with Mamdani or AOC, and then one was with Bernie Sanders. And I didn't watch the whole thing, and I skipped through a bit. They did not seem like ultra hard interviews. Now, maybe there were parts, being honest, maybe there were parts I missed because I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't know if anybody else has watched the full things, but
what you wish for
there. So, I mean, ultimately, I was glad that it did end up with Sagar there because I think he did a great job and we played well together in that context. But that was kind of interesting and revealing to me of like what she wanted and what she was going for. When I asked her, "What are you doing here? Why did you want to do this?" Appearances is what they told our producers. It's kind of an intra-Democratic Party thing. So that just sort of made sense. Her staff was really adamantly opposed to that. They wanted Sagar there because they didn't want the appearances is what they told our producers. They didn't want the appearance of a softball interview. Like, girl, no, you don't need to worry about that.
Be careful
No
what you wish
worries
for.
there. So, I mean, ultimately, I was glad that it did end up with Sagar there because I think he did a great job and we played well together in that context. But that was kind of interesting and revealing to me of like what.
Okay, I'm not trying to say I'm very special, and you should appreciate me for that, but you should. You say that they're mean. Do you remember your COVID debates where the entire audience came to? I like that. I enjoy that kind of stuff. It's very rare, though. Most people don't enjoy super hostile audiences and stuff, or people hounding their personal life or stalking them online or swatting them or suing them or doing all sorts of shit, okay? I live for the conflict, all right? But very few people actually do. So keep that in mind. Most people just are, it's a rough environment for a lot of people. And regardless of who likes it or doesn't, I have a lot more experience there too.
That was kind of interesting and revealing to me of like what she wanted and what she was going for. When I asked her, "What are you doing here? Why did you want to do this?" She brought up like, "Oh, I like that you guys disagree with each other." So I think even though there was some awareness of the show, I think number one, she thought she sort of did have that like centristy Morning Joe, left-right dynamic in mind. People who are in the establishment have a hard time wrapping their head around our politics, like you and I's politics, Sagar's politics.
This is very true, and this is what I complained about before. I think yesterday I was talking about this. It genuinely feels like the lawmakers, the establishment, not even the establishment, just the people in Congress. I don't know if it's their staffers or if they're older, or if they don't watch a lot of stuff or what, but they don't have a grasp on what is existing right now in the alternative media landscape. The fact that she just said that actually hardcore reinforces all of that to me, that they were like, oh, make sure Sagar or whatever is there so that it's like a even both sides interview. Like they're going on here expecting was it called Hardball? What was the show that Jon Stewart went on? Oh, fuck, what was it called? People say that he ended the show by going, I don't know if that's true or not. Oh, Crossfire, yeah. People, or like a CNN panel or like a Fox News panel or whatever, where you've got like your token Democrat, your token Republican. People are expecting these shows to be like, oh, Crystal Ball is going to be like kind of friendly to the left and Sagar is going to be like very MAGA. And that's just it. But I think people aren't aware of the diversity of opinion, I guess, that exists in the more alternative media landscape. The lines just don't divide that cleanly.
I'm wrapping their head around our politics, like you and I's politics, Sagar's politics. I have a hard time wrapping my head around Sagar's politics sometimes, to be fair. But in any case, I think she couldn't really conceptualize what we were doing, even though she had some familiarity. And then I also think that she is very confident in her ability to spin. So,
she's not dumb. I mean,
she was very
came across. Yeah,
she's talented. No, she's talented. There's no doubt about it. She's intelligent. She's talented. I see why Schuber or whoever are like pushing her forward because she believed that her coming on and saying the starvation needs to stop and I'm organizing this letter, that I think she thought I would accept that and think that, okay, she's moving and that's enough.
This dumb bitch didn't know I was going to demand an entire solution for Israel-Palestine. What an idiot. Are you still cool with Pokemon challenges? Have I talked about this before? This friendship? Or ex-friendship? Pokemon challenges used to be my community for a long time. And then, so I feel like, I don't think he was a streamer initially. He was just like a cool dude in our community. But one of the things that we found out, and I found this out at a live event, okay, before I even saw his fucking stream, because I think he went to TwitchCon or whatever, first TwitchCon before he actually went to live event. He starts streaming, and you can hear immediately, as soon as this guy starts talking, this fucker is European. And I had no idea, wasn't expecting it, wasn't prepared for it, felt basically lied to the entire time. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like, I think we're okay-ish, but it just wasn't the same after finding that out, you know? Destiny noticed that they are essentially gloating about getting a gotcha on her. This is the alternative media space we're supposed to be collaborating with. Actually true. Oh, yeah, the harp. I'm glad you said that, actually. Because one thing I was going to say is she kind of admits to being a bit of a piece of shit here when she's like, well, they asked for Sagar to be on so that it didn't just seem like a softball interview. So I fucking annihilated her when she came. I fucking annihilated her. Ah! And it's like, okay, well, it sounds like they explicitly didn't want a softball interview, right? Because they were saying like, oh yeah, make sure Sagar's there. So I don't know why you would use that as a launching pad to be like, yeah, so then I eviscerated her live on TV and I gave her the hardest fucking interview I could possibly imagine giving. It's like, oh, okay. And not even like a quote unquote hard interview, but just like a needlessly contentious one over an issue that's not relevant to her political position that much. And then that's kind of unsolvable historically for the past 100 years. But like, okay. Dude, fuck the whole media space for the left. Like, imagine you go on, it's just like, imagine some Dem wins a seat in like fucking West Virginia or whatever, and it's like, oh, Senator from West Virginia, you're a Democrat. Huh. I saw you talk about the budget yesterday. You were throwing around a lot of numbers, and I want to push you on something. Do you think that math is real, or do you think that it's discovered? Is it real and discovered in the universe? Or do you think it's a healthy fiction that we use to understand the world around us? And we're going to talk about this for the next like 2 hours. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, for these fucking ghouls, like, Israel-Palestine is the start and end of their entire fucking existence. Oh my God. You should genuinely try to cover the Majority Report and Crystal's show. They say so much retarded shit. I feel like I would have to go back to gaming or something. Or I would need to start churning out like 15 hours a day, because there's like so much stuff to watch of this, right? Like, I still have to finish this, about an hour left. I kind of want to watch this for, oh God, I don't know why I would do this myself, an hour and a half. And then we had Hassan's 45-minute thing. Second slot video on economics from Second Thought. Second Thought is we would never, he's just a tanky. We're good on this. Oh God, and he even has like the, I'm good. You need to be building a better left media sphere. True! Oh, I need to be doing shoutouts more to staffers. You guys need to start emailing me again, okay? But soon. Okay, I promise my court case is ending soon, all right? Stop! No, stop! This is not a real link. Who linked this? Stop! The caption is, or the comment from the poster is, Kennedy loves to perform. Her version of performing doesn't look like everyone else. But she's cool with that. Why are you lying that someone linked this to you? This is your feed, dog? Bro, my feed is so fucked. I don't even know what the fuck kind of shit I get anymore. Holy fuck. I don't know who posts this stuff. Let's see, what's the first reel I get today? Oh, it's a... Hold on. Oh my God. Wait, he's so unhelpful. Look, she's just trying to do her daily yoga. What? Ah! Why? What a jerk. Oh my God.
Я тебя в зеркало увидела, что ты хочешь
Oh,
сделать.
look at how picky it. Oh my god, dude, he's getting kisses. Oh. Oh my god, look at that. Oh. Wait, why is he doing this? Why did he jump on it? I don't think I've ever seen a cat do this before. Oh. Okay. We give that one a like. Wait, what's the next one? Hard men the moment they see a cat. What? I am a hard man, true. Thank you. But they're cats.
Appreciate you, bro. We just got it. Fire. Yeah, this is the balcony right here. Okay. And we got a pool table and sauna.
Nice.
And then, yeah, that's my cat right there. Nothing crazy.
Is that a meow meow? Is that a meow meow? Meow meow. Meow meow.
Where's she running?
Meow meow.
She's trapped. How the fuck did you get a volume bar on Instagram? I don't know. It just appeared for me. I'll take it. Oh my god, what's this guy doing? Okay, last one. I'm sorry. Stop. We're not on this right now. We're not doing this right now. What is this? Trick name?
I am lost.
Okay. Stop. Oh shit. We are at 1 year on our... Wait, Cake just reminded us. Hold on. On our CrowdStrike. Well, who came with me on this? Who came with me on CrowdStrike? Where are my brave warriors that trusted our big calls on this? And they said they called us stupid. Find them in chat. Find them in chat. They said, you're an idiot. They said you were a fool. How up are we? We are up bigly. I put in 500K a year ago, and it is at 831K now. Whew. Is that a sell? Did we do it? I think we're at 1 year. Wait. Can I just say, whoever does the whoever programs or does the web interface for fucking Vanguard, the fact that you can't see like when you bought or sold on the actual stock page that shows your holdings is probably the stupidest fucking design thing I've ever seen literally in my entire life. The fact that I've got to go to a whole separate page to look at this is beyond fucking retarded. You should feel bad about yourself. Okay. Date acquired 7/23/2024. Okay. Realistically, where is realistically this stock is not gonna outperform as much anymore, right? We should sell. We should dump this, right? I don't know anything about any of these. I don't know why I spent so much money. Okay, hold on. CrowdStrike stop. After that, as my chat guides me. Wait, why the fuck does this say up 104% over the year? I'm not up 100. I'm up 66%. Where are they getting that from? 7/23. Oh, it's a week or two might have made a big difference here. It's been on a downtrend for a while. Okay, let's think for a second. Okay, how are my other retard stocks doing? What are your other big retard ones? Is Meta having retarded growth right now? Hold on, I can vibe. They call me a vibe trader, okay? Actually, wait. Hey, Grok, can you tell me which 10 stocks listed on the S&P 500 had the highest growth rate year to date? Question mark. Can you please explain what that document from Justical that you linked in chat was? Oh, he privated one of his rooms and he accidentally linked his daily content Google Doc or whatever for the last like 2 or 3 months. I was on there like 74 times. Feels amazing. That's why they call me a job creator, all right? Can you explain your transcript message from earlier? Oh, if I'm... What world do we live in, dude? Limpheo. Oh. Just pull out the schizo chart. Pull out the schizo chart. Pull out the schizo chart. And also, please, okay? Destiny, you're wrong. Wait, I'm wrong about what? Oh, am I not understanding what that thing was on my, what the writing was? Oh, there was a docket entry after. Never mind. Fuck me. Okay. Why do you still have Pisco banned in Twitter? I think I followed him again. I think I followed them all again. Just to... refresh the waters of our brain. Okay, hold on. Stop! You guys are pulling me out around too many words. Oh, anyway, the schizo drawing. He should... yeah. You should just report him. That's crazy. But I said that and then I caught myself saying, why would you ever report Hassan Piker when he's never going to be banned ever? That's just crazy that he's just full on like showing the fucking docs of Willie Mack on his stream through Bad Empanada. It's just crazy. Oh, and then I remember what I was going to say before, and then the heart yanked my mind off. I see some of you guys are sometimes like want to defend me. It's like, oh no, like Destiny's not necessarily pro doxing or oh blah blah blah. I am. I don't give a fuck. Okay. I don't do it on any platform where it's TOS, but otherwise for all these people, I absolutely do not give a fuck on any of them. These people are unhinged and crazy, and I think the more that they're publicly known, I think the better, and I 100% support that, okay? Don't mental gymnastics yourself into trying to say, like, oh no, I don't think, no, I do. I do support it, okay? Fuck these people. They're fucking insane, actually insane fucking people, all right? Clarify these people. When I say these people, I mean every person that says anything mean about me. No, I'm just kidding. The people that are, I guess we can say like broadly like snark culture or whatever. People that do this like obsessive every single day, stalking, harassing, gossip into other forms of harassment day in and day out is just, I think it's insane. And I don't care if any of these people, if people find out who they are or whatever. Fuck, I can't really say that actually. Now I just realized because half you guys are fucking retarded and won't understand how to interpret that the way that I'm interpreting it. If Pisco like turns into, if he's like a huge backstabber and he shits on me a ton and is mean or whatever, like I wouldn't say that like he's somebody that I would say like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. Because it's like political, it's not like ultra personal, and he doesn't do any of the weird obsessive stuff. Like for Aaron, over all the leak stuff to presidency or whatever the fuck else bullshit like that. Aaron is also somebody that I wouldn't consider, despite the fact that, you know, obviously I have major problems with this person's conduct and then other people around them, but like I wouldn't say that that's the person who I would say, oh yeah, like fuck this, you know. I'm thinking like just the people that are obsessively, constantly A-logging every single fucking day, all the time, all this obsessive coverage and drama and gossip and harassment. Fuck anybody associated with all that shit, okay? Fuck those people. This is crazy. I can't believe Hassan would just fucking would just watch this on stream. That's wild to me. Are you and Adam22 still friends? I think so, yeah. Or I mean, like we're friendly. I don't know if I would say we're like close friends or whatever. me get my jacket thing. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Top 10 S&P 500 stocks. There are 10 stocks in the S&P 500 with the highest year to 10 based on returns in the end of 2024 to the most recent market close. These represent the increase in stock price over that period, not including dividends. Oh, shit. How important is that? How many S&P 500 stocks pay dividends? I feel like it's not as common anymore now. Palantir is number one at 112% year to date. We've got GE Vernova, Supermicro, NRG Energy, Seagate Technology, Newmount, Western Digital, my hard drive manufacturers, Tapestry Inc., Howmet Aerospace, and GE Aerospace. Okay, hold on. These are small fry companies. $72 billion. What the fuck is this? I assume this is going to be like $100 million company. Wait, what the fuck is this company? Newmount Corporation is an American gold mining company based in Greenwood Village, Colorado. It is the world's largest gold mining corporation. Oh, okay. Well, just kidding. It'd be awesome to see you reach out to the Punching Down podcast. I actually did. I messaged their producer on Twitter. What about Supermicro? $35 billion company. Okay. Look at UNH stock, super undervalued. News. I'm getting there. Don't worry. Oof. Was that with the assassination? Is that what happened here? Was that Luigi? Oh, shit. Is this a value buy right now? Ooh. Is this a value buy right now? Oh, man. So I was going to say Luigi was in December. Oh, wait. Luigi assassination. Oh, it was December 4th. Wait, what happened to this company? What happened in April? They're being sued by the DOJ. UNH, Department of Justice. It's Medicare Advantage billing practices. No. No shot. This, I can see. This is a value buy. This is a value buy. It's a value buy. Look at that. Look at that cliff. All right. Let's go. We're doing it. Okay, hold on. Are the markets open? What is today? Monday. Goodbye. CrowdStrike. You've treated us well. Goodbye. Remember capital gains? It's long term, baby. Okay. Is it sold yet? How do I tell? It should be like instant, right? This is a highly liquid stock. It's trading hours. Total credits. Oh, yeah, baby. All right. Okay. Now we're going to roll this into. All right. Where are we? FDIC coverage. I get FDIC coverage on my. Oh, that's if you open a Cash Plus account. Fuck that shit. Okay. Okay, hold on 1 second. UNH. United Health Group Inc. On. They even got a good ticker. On. Okay. Hold on. Preview. Market order, baby. What is this? So prior to selling data. We're good. Don't care. Okay. We're doing it. Who's coming with me? 2,081 shares. This is the next big play, guys. See you in a year. Clip me, all right? Because it's probably going to be a bumpy road for a little bit. All right? But we only, we only pick winners here, okay? We exclusively, this is the winner picker stream. That is all we do here, okay? That's all we do. Submit order. Let's go. I should have put in the other 300K. Now the other 300K we'll put our winnings from our CrowdStrike is going to, where is that going? How's my VT doing? Some loser told me to buy world stocks. Are we selling NVIDIA? Wait, when did we buy NVIDIA? Portfolio accounts. I feel like that crypto shit is just, I feel like we should hold on to that. Oh yeah, when Luigi gets fucking sentenced to capital punishment, this United Health Group stock is gonna fucking skyrocket too. Hell yeah. Destiny reads 10 weeks of legal docs and case filings for boring shit, but won't read anything about the DOJ investigation before driving half. Because just look at the chart, bro. Look at the chart. Look at this chart. What do you have to read? Look at that chart. When you see, let me help you with a little bit of trading advice. Okay? You have all these other ways of analyzing stocks and ratios and filings and shit. No one gives a fuck about that, okay? Look, whenever you see a stock, all right? Whenever you see a stock that's like this, where's it going to go next? Where's it going to go next? Let me give you a little help. I like to call this the Benelli reversal, because the only place you have to go from here is there. There's not even graph on the, yeah, there's not even space on the graph for it to go down anymore, so it's already bottomed out. We call this the red rubber band. I was going to say, look at the second, the 5-year chart. But that's even better. That shows it has staying power. Look at how much it's... Yeah. Look at since its inception, okay? We're doing it. Okay. Hold on. What am I looking for? Jesus, I hate this. How do I see my... Oh, there. Okay. NVIDIA we bought in April of last year. Do we want... But why would I sell NVIDIA? I don't think I would sell NVIDIA, right? I feel like we should just hold on to that, right? Okay. Wait, sorry, I just need to do something with this real quick. You're gonna talk about the latest filings on they said the court has been gaslit. No, it's just boring. It's all boring shit. I'm just waiting for rulings from the judge. Kindly confirm if we should hold or sell NVIDIA. Oh, we're holding NVIDIA. It's AI. It's the future, baby. Bought NVIDIA around 122. Congrats. The NVIDIA one's doing okay. We're up like 250K on that, or 280K. The CrowdStrike was a better buy though. That was just an unstoppable call. But look, it's because CrowdStrike also did the hidden. Or wait, not CrowdStrike. NVIDIA also did they fell a lot. You can't fall that much and not make a comeback. This is America. We're the home of the comeback story. All right. Okay, investing in... Okay, there's no point in buying... Oh, shit. I was about to shit talk. I had these mixed up. Never mind. I was about to go on a whole rant about buying world stocks. Oh, fuck. Nope, never mind. Over the air. Yeah. Fuck world stocks. America is the world, okay? Why buy... If America's not doing good, nobody's doing good. And if America's not doing good and other people are doing good, I don't want to be alive. So all of our extra money just goes into VU, okay? Fuck everything else. That is so fucking retarded. You're fucking retarded. I don't want to be in a world where America is not doing good and everyone else is, okay? I'd rather watch... I want my portfolio to die with my country, okay? Maybe do some dividend stocks. I'm sorry, what, do you think I'm 80 years old? I work a job, motherfucker. I don't need dividends. Okay. Buy shares. This. Boom, boom, boom. Market order, baby. Preview. Go. I don't care what that warning was. Submit. Wait, what is this? This figure represents... okay, don't care. Boom. All right. Let's go. Okay, back to our investment. Okay, we're good. All right, boom, boom. Okay, so we've got we got the big healthcare play, and then we've got our NVIDIA stock that we're holding. Do some calls and puts and options on and gamble on stream? No, fuck no. You're crazy. Think I'm a gambler? You think I'd waste my money like that? I linked it in chat, but I don't think you saw it. Here's a clip of the Hassan size. Yes. That's what I need. Missed on buying net. Don't know what that is. Don't give a fuck. There we go. Okay. Jesus Christ. All right, let's chew through these. Should I finish watching this first? Ah, fuck it. Let's chew through these. New whistleblower reveals how they were threatened by a supervisor to go along with the Obama-directed Russia hoax intelligence assessment, even though they knew it was not credible or accurate. The whistleblower refused. Yesterday, we released the whistleblower's first-hand account of what happened in the crafting of the January 2017 ICA. Their years-long efforts to I don't care about any of this. These people are fucking retarded. Clinton plan emails were likely made by Russian spies, declassified report shows. What is the Clinton plan emails? An annex to a report by the special counsel John H. Durham was the latest in a series of disclosures about the Russia inquiry as the Trump team seeks to distract from the Jeffrey Epstein files. Hey, Destiny, assume I'm telling the truth. Oldie but goodie.
That white...
A good one. The Trump-era special counsel who scoured the Russia investigation for wrongdoing gathered evidence that undermines a theory pushed by some Republicans that Hillary Clinton's campaign conspired to frame Donald J. Trump for colluding with Moscow in the 2016 election. Information declassified on Thursday shows. The information, a 29-page annex to the special counsel's 2023 report, reveals that a foundational document for that theory was most likely stitched together by Russian spies. The document is purported email from July 27, 2016 that said Mrs. Clinton had approved a campaign proposal to tie Mr. Trump to Russia to distract from the scandal over her use of a private email server. Destiny, guess what the censored word was? People still haven't fully realized what's happening. Blank are going to lock down the entire internet very soon. Maybe even by the end of the year at this rate. Jews? Bongers? Europeans? Kikes? Shut down, no, but censored oblivion, yes. And we were saying, oh, because I don't know if it's her or not, but I don't remember if she was part of it, but some people were saying that, wait, was it her? That the censorship of the internet is happening at the behest of Israel to get people to not talk about Gaza as much? I don't know, it's fucking retarded. This section provides further factual background about the possible Clinton campaign plan described in the office's report. The office's efforts to verify or refute the information about the plan and the manner in which department officials received and acted on or did not act on the campaign plan information. Let's see. Okay. The annex adds new details to the public's understanding of a complex trove of 2016 Russian intelligence reports analyzing purported emails that Russian hackers stole from Americans. It also shows how the special counsel John H. Durham went to great lengths to try to prove that several of the emails were real, only to ultimately conclude otherwise. Oof. The declassification is the latest disclosure in recent... I wonder if Rob Noor's ever used that in an argument, that we have emails showing that Hillary Clinton wanted to collude or whatever. The wave has come as the administration is seeking to change the subject from its broken promise to release files related to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Even as the releases shed more light on a seismic political period nearly a decade ago, Mr. Trump and his allies have wildly overstated what the documents show, accusing former President Barack Obama of treason. Yeah. Oh my God! The New York Times said that somebody declared something on social media. When you clicked it, it actually linked to the post instead of linking to another article. Unbelievable. We uncovered this annex along with thousands of other documents buried in a back room at the FBI. Okay, buried in a back room. Okay. It revealed a highly classified piece of the Durham report, evidence that the Clinton campaign plotted to frame President Trump and fabricate the Russia collusion hoax. We worked with Chairman Grassley and declassified the documents immediately, and now the American people can see the truth for themselves. The Russia hoax was a disgrace that President Trump and our country should have never been put through. This should be a step toward justice. There will be more to come. Your FBI will keep being relentless to get the truth out there. We're thankful for federal partners at the Justice Department, at CIA, and more. And thank you at Chuck Grassley for your tireless investigative work. This is the smoking gun evidence inside the Durham Annex. If it is authenticated by further investigation, it means liberal mega donor George Soros' team knew the whole Clinton plan for Russiagate hoax 4 days before the FBI opened up the probe and said Obama, Brennan, and Comey. Oh no. This fucking retard. Do they just not read what they leak? Let's see. With regard to the discussion in the last paragraph of this memorandum of scandalous revelations that the Clinton staff was preparing with support from special services, the words that FBI linguists translated to special services are Russian words that one analyst believed at the time referred to the FBI and the CIA, or more broadly to the intelligence and law enforcement communities. Another analyst, caveating it, that it was speculation, said that perhaps the phrase special services in this context could refer to Trump dossier author Christopher Steele, who, according to media reports and Steele's own testimony in UK legal proceedings, formerly worked as an intelligence professional for the British government. In addition, the office has determined that, at the time of this memorandum, Glenn Simpson's firm, Fusion GPS, was in fact preparing open-source opposition research regarding Trump's purported ties to Russian oligarchs. On March 31st, 2016, FBI personnel, including Deputy Director McCabe, and all these people, shared the intelligence information with Associate Deputy Attorney General David Margolis, the highest-ranking career official in the department, and other senior career officials at the department. The FBI briefed Margolis on the specifics of the sensitive intelligence and informed him the FBI assessed the information to be likely not credible. The FBI's assessment, according to McCabe and later memorialized by Anderson in an August 12, 2016 memorandum, was based on 4 factors. First, the reports reflected multiple levels of hearsay. Second, someone involved in the communication or in passing along the communication to someone at a think tank may have engaged in exaggeration. Third, the blank who drafted the reports may have engaged in editorialization or exaggeration. And fourth, the reports may be unreliable because of translation errors. After that meeting, the FBI and blank sought any additional information or any additional related information from T1. T1 did no responsive information. At that time, the FBI considered taking a number of covert investigative steps to determine, among other things, whether the Attorney General had in fact communicated with Amanda Renteria, the political director of the Hillary Clinton staff, referenced in the blank memorandum. The FBI ultimately decided not to take those steps. Comey told the OIG that the FBI did not pursue these steps because the information in blank reports was not credible on its face. In this regard, Tricia Anderson told investigators that the director had said the assertion that the Attorney General was pressuring him in connection with the mid-year exam investigation gave him doubts about the credibility of the two documents. He also understood that Margulis's view was that pursuing such steps would take us down a path where we're investigating the Attorney General of the United States, and that Margulis thought that you ought to have more of a reason to go forward with it than what you have. After receiving the initial intelligence in blank to 2016, FBI subsequently received additional intelligence from T1. Who is T1? I could probably scroll up and check, but okay. A certain hacked emails allegedly sent by Leonard Bernardo of the Open Society Foundations. Like Memorandum stated that Clinton approved a plan proposed by one of her foreign policy advisors, Julianne Smith, to smear Donald Trump by magnifying the scandal tied to the intrusion by the Russian special services in the pre-election process to benefit the Republican candidate. Ooh. So one of the things they were saying was they feel like this is a translated term that you wouldn't use in English. I mean, I'm sure they've got a ton of other stuff they were commenting on too, but like we would probably say like Russian like intelligence, or is the KGB still active, or is it called something else now? We wouldn't say special services. I think they said above that was like a translated term from Russia for the FSB. Fuck. By magnifying the scandal title. Okay. The pre-election process, this translated draft memorandum stated in relevant part. Let's see. Is there any point to look into this shit? We know it's all schizo bullshit. Well, this is interesting because it's just showing a remarkable lack of... I don't know what these guys do all day. Like, what are their jobs? Do they not read anything? What are they doing all day? So they're trying to push this... They're trying to push this as proof that Hillary Rodham Clinton approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering the U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. The point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue. Say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election to feel menace, since both POTUS and VPOTUS have acknowledged the fact that IC would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable. However, there seems to be signs GRU penetration, acrylic 2.0 VPN elite, blah, blah, blah. They appear hardly skilled, quote, incompetent, bumbling idiots, end quote, as somebody called them. In absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and ThreatConnect will supply the media, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts. So this is the email that they're showing proves this, but it sounds like this email, Durham tried to authenticate, and they felt like this was probably just a Russian... Like, this is just a bullshit email. This is not real. That, like, some Russian GRU operative stitched this together. The office interviewed numerous FBI personnel who were involved in Crossfire Hurricane or related intelligence efforts to determine whether they could shed light on the potential reliability or unreliability of the information about the possible Clinton campaign plan. Certain blank analysts and officers whom the office interviewed and who were well-versed in the sensitive intelligence collection stated that their best assessment was that the Bernardo emails were likely authentic. Oh, this guy said authentic. Multiple analysts noted that the Russians had, in fact, hacked Bernardo's emails. Some analysts also noted that it was possible, however, that the Russians might have fabricated or altered purported U.S. emails, but some of these analysts also noted that the sensitive intelligence was redacted. Special. Wait, is this guy Russian? Oh, wait, I'm curious what the... Wait, where was the term that I read? Wait, am I having a fucking stroke? I am having a stroke. Wait, this must have been written up here. Hold on. Special services was the term. Oh, it was up here. Okay. Even if this is real, isn't this just saying that Hillary Clinton is part of a campaign strategy? So we don't have, well, that was part of the reason why the reliability of this was low, was that it was the multiple levels of hearsay, the possibility of exaggeration, the person who drafted the reports might have engaged in editorialization, and then there might have been unreliability due to translation errors. I wonder if these original emails were sent if they were in Russian language. Okay, sorry, hold on. Let me read the... In addition, the office obtained records from a number of nonprofit organizations and think tanks that, as noted above, were the victims of hacks by Russian intelligence, determining the accuracy of the sensitive intelligence and whether it is in fact reflected in an actual plan by the Clinton campaign. These included, among others, the Open Society Foundations, the Atlantic Council, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, and the Center for a New American Society. Notably, the office was unable to locate in the records from the think tanks any exact versions of the Bernardo emails obtained through the T1. The office did, however, identify certain emails, attachments, and documents that contain language and references with the exact name, or exact same or similar verbiage to the materials referenced above. For instance, on July 25th, 2016, the same date, is one of the emails purportedly from Bernardo. Tim Marr, a Carnegie Endowment cyber expert, replied to an email asking for Marr's opinion on an article titled "The Hacks We Can't See, All Signs Point to Russia Being Behind the DNC Hack." Marr began by stating that the author is very good, thoughtful. Marr then wrote the following, which contains certain language that also appears verbatim in the email attributed to Bernardo of the same date. It's an important story because it would be the first time that we know of that a state deliberately uses the exfiltration and publication of data to interfere in another country's election. At the same time, I'm surprised that nobody's mentioned the March story yet in their analysis. In addition to this email from Marr, the think tank records also contained a July 26, 2017 from Lena Smith, a Clinton campaign advisor, in which Smith circulated a draft public statement to certain of her think tank colleagues, and the email which Smith sent the day after Clinton purportedly authorized the above referenced plan. Smith urged her colleagues to sign the draft statement that criticized Trump for his comments, but then no lines and asserted Trump's including interviews with Leonardo. Who is this guy? The Leonard Bernardo guy again? Just a guy that works for a think tank. When Bernardo was shown redacted versions of the reported emails from the Sensitive Intelligence, Bernardo stated that they did not look familiar to him and that he would not have used certain terms, such as oil into the fire. Wait, so they interviewed him about all this, but then they said that the email was authentic? Or that just said it looked authentic? Wait, now I'm confused. Hold on. I don't want to read this whole fucking thing. 29 pages. Oh, maybe it's going over. They said that the emails were likely authentic. They're talking about the whole batch of emails and not just that one particular one. There were a lot of emails apparently. Maybe, okay. Bernardo also did not know who Julie referred to in the July 25th, 2016 purported emails. Bernardo stated that, to the best of his recollection, he did not draft the emails. Bernardo stated that, however, that the last sentence in the email, noting that things are ghastly for U.S.-Russia relations, sounded like something he would have said. In an interview with The Office, Marr likewise was shown the purported emails from Bernardo. Marr stated that he did not write either email. He acknowledged, however, writing the above referenced July 25th, 2016 email identified on the Carnegie Endowment's production. He also acknowledged that portions of the language in the July 25th, 2016 email obtained through the T1 collection and purported to be from Bernardo were identical to language used in Marr's email of the same date of his colleague to his colleagues. Okay, I see. Finally, okay, so this is what they mean when they said they stitched together potentially fake emails. Finally, office interviewed Julianne Smith. Smith stated that she neither drafted nor recalled receiving anything, either of the purported Bernardo emails. Smith stated that she did not specifically remember proposing a plan to Clinton or other campaign leadership to try to tie Trump to Putin or Russia. Smith stated, proposing a plan to Clinton, this actually wouldn't even necessarily be illegal or wrong. I mean, like, if you really think that, I mean, like, I think that the campaign had ties to Russia. I mean, as long as you're not, like, colluding with foreign operatives, you're not declaring it or something. Technically, that wouldn't even be a problem. But Smith stated, however, that it was possible that she proposed ideas on these topics to the campaign's leadership, who may have approved these ideas. Smith recalled conversations with others in the campaign expressing their genuine concerns that the DNC hack was a threat to the electoral system, and that Trump and his advisors appear to have troubling ties to Russia. Smith said it was also possible someone proposed an idea of seeking to distract attention from the investigation into Secretary Clinton's use of a private email server, but she did not specifically remember any such idea. Smith said, however, that she was certain any proposal she made of the Clinton campaign seeking to highlight issues concerning Trump and Russia would not have included an effort to enlist the FBI in the furtherance of those efforts. Okay. This is retarded. This fucking retard is... We need a special counsel investigation into FBI Director Cash to verify if he can even read. I don't know why I'm screaming into the void on this. Can you please give a rundown of what they're trying to say that verse what this? Okay, sorry, I'm skimming this hardcore. So it sounds like what this is okay. Let's see how much of this I remember. I believe that Durham was the special counsel that was put together to investigate whether or not Crossfire Hurricane, which was the investigation into Trump and all of his cronies on the Russian shit, whether or not that was like a properly done investigation or if there was like a bunch of political bias or whatever. That was the Durham report that we got. So there was an annex, meaning I guess like an attached like side thing to the report where they were investigating emails that were sent around by people that seemed to reference the Hillary Clinton campaign. And so some of these emails are fairly-ish damning, maybe. So for instance, imagine if there was a big investigation and it came out from, imagine that it came out from Josiah's inbox, that Josiah was emailing, I'm really important. And Josiah said, hey, we've been talking to Stephen and he wants to do a bunch of potentially illegal shit. So we're going to go ahead and like move forward on that plan because we think it's going to help his campaign for office. And then, and that's like the email. That's one of like many emails. Well, obviously, if that was true, well, first of all, it's still like double, triple hearsay, right? He's reporting to somebody else what he thinks he heard somebody say about something, right? So, but it's not. I mean, it's an investigation, so it's not bad to start here. However, it seems like when the FBI was digging through a lot of these emails that they got, because apparently these were emails that were also publicly released, I guess, as part of like the DNC hack. When the FBI was going through these emails, the FBI was trying to figure out, are all these emails authentic? And it sounds like some of these emails are not real. So like this email here, I believe the FBI determined was probably not real. This is cobbled together from other excerpts from text from other emails, and it was put out here to make it seem like Hillary Clinton was trying to falsely tie Trump to Russia. But when they interviewed the people involved, when they interviewed Leonard Bernardo, he says he doesn't recall writing anything like this, and some of the phrases, I guess, in some of these don't look like things he would say. Another guy said that he doesn't remember ever receiving it. And then the woman, Julianne or whatever, says that she doesn't remember talking about any plan like this. Mara was a guy, I guess he was emailing to for some of these. So their determination by the end of this was basically that this email is probably not real. This is probably a Russian hoax email. So one of the things that I mentioned with the Hunter Biden laptop stuff that you have to be careful of is people argue over whether or not the Hunter Biden laptop was real, and that's not really the important part. The important part would be, could you plant something fake on a real laptop that people would think is real? That would be like the big problem, you know? That's the important thing. So there was a real hack of DNC emails and a bunch of real stuff to get leaked, but it's also possible you could try to insert other stuff into that to make it seem worse, or to put bad stuff in there that people would think is credible because of the other stuff that was leaked, if that makes sense. So like this email sounds like it's fake. But the funny thing is that Kash Patel is quote tweeting that email saying, here's evidence that show that Hillary Clinton was actually planning to falsely tie Trump to Russia in order to distract from her email scandal. But this email, if you just follow the declassified documents that they released, is just like is not doesn't seem to be credible. It's not real. It's not a real email. It was probably just put together by Russians. But it's retarded because they're just not reading the stuff that they're declassifying. I don't know why they would say that if they declassified enough to show that the FBI's assessment and everybody else's assessment was that these emails weren't real. So, are we sure there was even an original laptop from Hunter? He says he can't remember, and we only ever got a hard drive. So I'm going to be honest. I would have said there was probably no laptop at all. It sounded fake to me. The strongest piece of evidence, in my opinion, that Hunter did drop off an actual laptop at that store was when the Channel 5 guy asked him if he dropped one off, and he said he couldn't remember. Because I feel like, how the fuck do you not know if you're taking laptops to repair shops? That seems like a thing you would remember or know about. So that felt like a, I don't know, maybe plausible deniability thing. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe he just cracked out and he didn't remember. I'm not sure. Dun, 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 du, 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 du. Okay. Don't care. Hold on. I just need something for a quote tweet here. Yeah, they interviewed like everybody, and nobody had any recollection or any idea whatsoever of any of these emails, and they didn't find the originals, I guess. Oh, wait, hold on. Is I don't recall or I don't remember just some impenetrable defense? No, so this is one of the reasons why publishing stuff from an investigation where you don't end up reaching like an indictment level of stuff, in my opinion, is irresponsible, because sometimes I don't recall or I don't remember is like that's a valid thing to say, in my opinion. Hold on. Yes. Okay. It doesn't matter at this point, right? So one thing that people got really mad about me for when Pixie published her unhinged fucking Substack is people like, why didn't you just come out and make an exact statement on everything? The honest to God truth, the 100% truth is I can't recall exactly, like word for word, every conversation that I had 5 years ago. It would be dishonest. It would be a lie to say so, right? Like I know that generally I know how conversations to go. I know agreements that I generally tend to make, and I know like why I would do things or not do things. But like to sit here and say like, oh well, this is exactly word for word what was said, is impossible, right? So obviously one of the major points of contention has to do with me and Pixie talking about recording videos and what could be done with them. But I will say, okay, my honest answer is like, I know what I would tend to say, but I can't remember the exact conversation. Now, for whatever reason, Pixie decided to try to be more, I don't want to say forthcoming because that implies deceit otherwise, Pixie tried to navigate that and claim that she knew more about like what we had said or what we hadn't said. But if we ever get to read those transcripts, Pixie gave 3 different answers about like material that we recorded. One time she said, we just agreed not to like send it around to everybody, which is kind of vague, which is a very funny way to phrase that if like the whole court case is centered on this one question. A second time she said, I think, we agreed that like only like our partners could see it. And then a third time, I think she said nobody was supposed to see anything we recorded. So like a better answer for her, because it sounds like she also honestly probably can't recall exactly what the conversations were, which is fair. It's 5 years ago, right? But in a lot of investigations, like people are going to ask you questions. This is one of the reasons why lawyers or people that work in intelligence, or at least like cabinet members, you see like Comey taking notes. People will, is it memorialize? Or is there a different word I'm looking for? Memorandize? Sometimes people just take notes after a conversation so they can remember like important points or key things that happen. Because your memory's not, you're not always going to be able to remember every single fucking conversation you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years into the future. So when you're doing an investigation like this, and you don't want to lie to investigators, right? If you're answering honestly, there's probably going to be a lot of things, because I see there's like a lot of answers here. It's like, I don't recall proposing this plan. Smith stated, however, that it was possible that she had proposed ideas on these topics to the campaign's leadership, who may have approved these ideas. Like, these are fair answers, and these are probably honest answers in terms of like, I don't remember proposing that in particular. It's possible that something was similar. But then obviously if you publish stuff like this, if you're publishing stuff like this without knowing for sure, or I'm sorry, when there was no indictment produced, this is kind of bullshit, because you're just publishing like speculation that no one's not speculation, but you're publishing like the uncertainty of people that you're interviewing. And now people in the public can take this and read it however they want, which I think is a little bit bullshit. But at Destiny, lawyer here, we instruct clients not to speculate on depositions, etc., even if they're fairly sure of something. Yeah, of course, 100%. Yes, no, or if you know the answer, you can answer. If you don't fucking speculate. Say, I can't recall. Because you might speculate differently a few times, or you might fuck yourself in your speculation. Okay, wait, sorry, I'm almost done with this. Okay, so this is a July 27th email. The office's best assessment is that the July 25th and July 27th emails that purport to be from Bernardo were ultimately a composite of several emails that were obtained through Russian intelligence hacking of the US-based think tanks, including the Open Society Foundations, the Carnegie Endowment, and others. Indeed, as discussed above, language from Tim Maher's email of July 25th is identical to language contained in Bernardo's purported email of the same date. Furthermore, given Smith's 1, extensive contacts in the think tank community, 2, her public role as a foreign policy advisor for the Clinton campaign, and 3, her communications with think tank colleagues regarding Trump, it is a logical deduction that blank, 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 Smith was, at a minimum, playing a role at the Clinton campaign's efforts to tie Trump to Russia. Indeed, Smith's July 27th email to her think tank colleagues regarding Trump, Russia, and NATO, and the day after candidate Clinton allegedly approved a plan to tie Trump to Russia, certainly lends at least some credence. Such a plan existed. Moreover, Smith's text message exchange with Foreign Policy Advisor 2 supports the notion the campaign might have wanted to or expected the FBI or other agencies to aid that effort to put more oil into the fire by commencing a formal investigation of the DNC hack. So the emails were probably fake, right? So the FBI already felt this way, and then the Durham investigation also agreed with that conclusion, that whatever. What a waste of time. Fox News runs wall-to-wall coverage on the new information. Oh boy. Jesse, should Democrats try to focus on January 6th again or move on from that? Because I feel like there's so much stuff the Dems need to defend now. The conservatives keep rapid firing. Also, good job at paying burn. I don't know. Oh, somebody told me special services and then typed out the word is a very common Russian term for any intelligence services. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. Do you have someone that prepares the Obsidian notes for you? Yes. Radiant in chat. Ugh. All right, hold on. I'll be back. We'll start this. There's no way we're watching all of this, so I
But
can't
first,
handle
breaking
it.
tonight, a previously classified document is shedding more light on the origins of the Trump-Russia probe. Republicans assert the newly released annex to Special Counsel John Durham's report shows that the Clinton campaign sought to discredit then-candidate Trump in 2016 by tying him to Russia. The Senate Judiciary Committee making these documents public for the first time just hours ago, with Chairman Chuck Grassley decrying what he calls, quote, one of the biggest political scandals and cover-ups in American history. Correspondent David Spont has details tonight. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. John Durham's investigation into the origins of the Trump-Russia narrative began in 2019 and ended in 2023 with a 300-page report. But for the first time, we're now seeing what is a declassified annex nearly 30 pages. The overall theme? Well, more examples of the Clinton campaign's alleged efforts to discredit then-candidate Trump in the run-up to the 2016 election. We're looking for the first time at emails believed to be from a man named Leonard with the Open Society Foundation, tied to liberal philanthropist George Soros. We're told that Durham received the emails originally hacked by Russian intelligence. Now, according to this annex, Leonard writes about a Clinton campaign advisor named Julianne, also referred to as Julie and Julia. Quote, Julie says it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. Now it is good for a post-convection bounce. Later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire. In another email, Leonard allegedly wrote, HRC, meaning Hillary Clinton, approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. Now, Durham interviewed Julie, who says she didn't draft or recall receiving the Leonard emails. The annex goes on to explain the FBI was fully alerted to the possibility that at least some of the information it received about the Trump campaign might have origins with the Clinton campaign or Russian disinformation. But the FBI dismissed the information, quote, as not credible without any investigative steps actually having been taken to either corroborate or disprove the allegations. The White House hours ago, Brett, pouncing on this news.
This is further evidence that Hillary Clinton approved the Russia hoax against President Trump. Her campaign financed it. Again, she approved it.
The report also critical of President Obama's national security team, specifically CIA Director John Brennan.
I stand ready to continue to talk about the assessment and what we did during that period of time. There was absolutely no conspiracy, and we continue to stand behind what it is that we have said publicly.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and FBI Director Kash Patel, all behind declassifying today's annex. No comment, though, to Fox from those mentioned in the actual document. Brett.
David, we're also learning about a new whistleblower shedding light on the Trump-Russia narrative. What about that?
Well, Brett, this is the same topic, but it's not part of the...
So also, real quick, if you're curious about how the Iraq war was manufactured, my understanding is that this is basically how it worked. Why are we over rustling? Was there a big volume difference?
The Durham Annex, Director of National...
God, this evil cunt. So my understanding is when we were looking for weapons of mass destruction, we really couldn't. The intelligence services were just saying there's probably none there. And my understanding is that I don't know if Cheney ordered this, but there was an office created called the Office of Special Plans, and the point of this Office of Special Plans was to take raw intelligence that hadn't been corroborated, contextualized, or analyzed by an entire unit, and to just shoot that basically straight to the White House, bypassing the ordinary mode of analysis that your intelligence agencies would do. And so this is part of how the White House can bullshit themselves or bullshit the U.S. that is saying, oh, look, there's weapons of mass destruction, by taking stuff that the CIA would go through and say, probably not very reliable. All of these people should be jailed, and whatever the treason punishment is should 100%, because what these people are doing, it's funny because in a roundabout way, I'm sorry, retarded, I don't know why I just said that. In a direct way, what this actually shows is it actually provides even more evidence for the people that said that the Hunter Biden laptop story looked like a Russian hoax. It actually gives even more credence to their statements. Now, whether or not it ultimately was or wasn't, I think at this point it seems like it wasn't, but it makes more sense now even why they would think that. If people were actually faking emails from the email hacks and putting them together in such a way to try to make them look real in order to besmirch or attack the Hillary campaign, by making it look like Hillary was going to go after Trump for Russia, right? Imagine how much mileage this Russian propaganda is getting by having Fox News dipshits recycle the same propaganda that our FBI already determined was bullshit, that Durham went through, again, did more interviews and determined it was bullshit, and now they're still taking this Russian propaganda and then they're playing it on Fox News. Like, that's crazy. That is insane to me. That's just wild. That's just insane to me. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to say? I don't know.
Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard says her team recently heard from a whistleblower in the intel community who claims they tried to sound the alarm on, quote, manipulated intelligence tying candidate Trump to Russia, but the whistleblower's bosses just would not listen. Attorney General Pam Bondi has a strike force looking at all kinds of information relating to the Trump-Russia narrative. Brett.
All right, David, thank you. We'll talk about it with the panel in just a minute.
It was all effort of total distraction and to make it look like
fucking actual disgusting piece of shit. God, I hope these guys all get fucking the worst cancer.
Russia was playing a very major role in helping Trump to be elected.
I have testified repeatedly over the years consistently about what we did to expose Russian interference in the 2016 election.
Senator Grassley releasing that Durham annex, putting out this statement. The Durham annex describes that in July 2016, the FBI received additional intelligence regarding a possible Clinton campaign plan, including documents with purported emails allegedly sent by Leonard Bernardo, senior vice president of Soros.
Like, they're selectively quoting this, but Durham gave a fairly scathing, excoriation of the FBI. He said that he felt like the FBI could have benefited from using red teams, that they needed to have more oppositional stuff over hotly politically charged issues, and that the agency was getting a little bit ahead of itself. Now, I think there was only one guy who fucked up in putting something in an email that he shouldn't have, although people dramatically overestimate. It was stupid what he did. Like, he wrote like a summary for an email at the bottom of an email and passed it off as though, and he shouldn't have done that. But aside from that, Durham's report wasn't that like the FBI rigged everything and Crossfire Hurricane was a massive political project that was just, he just said that like they probably got ahead of themselves a little bit politically and they weren't as careful as they should have been. That's what I remember basically as the summary from the Durham report. But Durham looked into all of this shit, and the goal was to fuck the FBI and to fuck the Clintons if they could find anything that would let them do so. But they looked through all these emails and they felt like it wasn't credible, and for good reason. It seems like it wasn't credible. So for them to take just parts of this that they declassified, why didn't they just declassify only the parts they wanted to use as propaganda? I'm surprised they released the whole thing. I guess maybe they're just stupid, but also nobody reads it, so it doesn't fucking matter anyways, I guess.
Open Society Foundations. The intelligence included data providing specificity on the plan and the attempt to smear then candidate Donald Trump by falsely linking him to...
Hold Destiny, ESL here. Can you simplify that thought once? I don't get how this news fits in past stories. Because what they're doing is they've taken like small bits and pieces of I would say of unvetted intelligence, but this is vetted, but they're just taking a small piece of it and they're doing their own presentation of it and say, oh, I think this is real, right? Whereas when you look at this in the holistic framework that the FBI and Durham and Mueller, right, all investigated this in, they're like, oh, this is bullshit, right? We know this is fake for good reason. But they're just taking a small bit of it and they're going, oh, look, actually, I think that's real. It's like, well, who the fuck are you? Well, fuck me, I guess. Actually, who are they? They're the DNI and I guess the head of the FBI right now. Sam, the Houston education ban was nice meeting you. Thanks for hearing me out. I know I briefly mentioned it, but do you believe that we've reached the point where violence is becoming necessary to reverse our trajectory? I don't know, bro. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is on anything.
To Russia. We're going to bring in the panel early. Trey Gowdy, former congressman from South Carolina, host of the Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy, and Fox News contributor.
I remember this guy.
Contributors Leslie Marshall and Byron York. Byron, there are a lot of pieces that come out in this, and we piece them together. We do stories on them. They don't break through in a lot of other places, but if you're at the whiteboard and you're looking at what came out today, why is it important and what does it tell us?
Well, I think it's important because it shows the degree to which the Clinton campaign played an important role in creating this whole Trump-Russia narrative.
So when they're saying this, so this whole Russia news segment is going to be about them reading emails that our intelligence agencies and Durham and Mueller all said were fake emails, that there's no evidence at all. They interviewed every single person around these servers, every single person around these emails, and nobody said that they recognized them. And they found pieces of this email in other emails from other people to other people, like it was cobbled together like a Russian hack job. And that's how, and so that's what we're about to hear. We're about to hear them repeat verbatim Russian propaganda that our intelligence agencies have already gone through and said is bullshit. I wonder if it's worth reading the rest of this declassified thing.
Not only that Russia tried to meddle in the U.S. election, but they did so to help Donald Trump win the presidency. And it really focuses on a few days in July of 2016, July 22nd. It was the Friday before the Democratic convention was going to start on Monday. That's when the hacked emails are published. They're embarrassing to a lot of Democrats. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, chairman of the party, has to resign. On Sunday, Robbie Mook, the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, goes on the Sunday shows and says, Russia did this, not that unusual, and then he said, Russia did it to help Donald Trump win the presidency. That was unusual. New York Times actually writes a story about it.
This is incredibly, well, I feel like at this point it's already like it's foregone. When I talk about like the media model where everybody gets marching orders, it's so obvious now that that's what's happening, because no intelligent human being that's gone through any of these documents would come to this conclusion on their own. They have to be getting these lines fed to them by political operatives.
Saying the Clinton campaign is going to make this a theme of their campaign going forward. And what we see is in the next couple of days after that, July 25th, July 27th, there are these letters between somebody at the George Soros Foundation. All those Republicans who think Soros is a big villain, well, they'll be confirmed in this one.
Whoa, go figure! Everybody who thought that fucking popular rumor thing, the Russians used that in their propaganda. Can you believe it? Fuck you, what an absolute. I hope they get fucking cancer and Alzheimer's. So every single day they wake up suffering, then I remember why they're suffering. It's actually so fucking crazy, dude.
Talking to members of the Hillary Clinton campaign about whether this is going to be a big deal going forward.
Yeah. Leslie, pieces of this come out, and I know Democrats say, it's all to take the focus away from the Epstein documents, all of that. But if you look at, to Byron's point, to July 27, 2016, from Leonard Bernardo in the Durham Annex, it says, HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email. I mean, some of these things just hit you in the face. And at some point, somebody has to say something.
Yeah, but here's the problem. A lot was said in the intel reports between 2017 and 2020. And specifically, they said that there was, in fact, Russian interference and that it was aimed specifically at damaging Clinton and boosting Trump. And by the way, there's video, numerous pieces of video of the President Trump, saying that, not to boost her and to boost him and to damage her, but that there was Russian interference. We then have the Durham investigation. What were his findings? FBI didn't handle this right. They botched things up. Does not recommend anybody be, handcuffed and, arrested. And if that's the case where we're at, if we're taking what Tulsi Gabbard and other people on the writers...
I messaged, I DM Matt Taibbi. We'll see if he wants to come on. I seriously doubt it, though.
saying, the inference they're making, the allegations that they're making, specifically about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. I don't see the handcuffs here. We have don't have a definitive amount of evidence. We have a lot of things that are redacted, and then we have testimony, and then we have people with first names and no last names, and we have no judicial proceedings on this. Let's bring it to the court if this is the case.
But this is classified stuff, Trey. So they are declassifying it, including this annex that came out, and they are revealing it from a classified place that no one would have ever seen it.
Yeah, some of us.
Yeah, that's what classified means. Good job. Yeah.
Who wrote that 2017 report certainly would have liked to have had that. In fact, Brett, we would have liked it so much, we actually asked the FBI for it. Devin Nunes sent a subpoena to the FBI. The one name that has not come up tonight so far is Chris Wray. We did not go from Jim Comey to Kash Patel. We had an FBI director named Chris Wray, and Congress repeatedly asked him for all the information you have on the Hillary Clinton.
Show the subpoena. Are subpoenas considered like classified by nature if they're asking for classified info? Or what? Can you show the subpoena? What do they ask for in particular? I bet they got this information. How do they find it if... Like, I hate that stuff is always treated as like selectively hidden. Like, we subpoenaed, we asked them for all this info, and they hid it from us. They hid it from us. They hid it from us. Well, then how the fuck did you fucking retards find it now? The reality is they probably got the information, and staffers, because these guys don't have time. To be fair, they don't have time, but I understand that. But their staffers or somebody probably went through and they're like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing credible here. And now they're ass pained because they realize there's something they could have fabricated, or they're just carrying the party line. I don't know. I'm trying to go through this rationally. These guys are fucking ghouls.
Email investigation and the Russia investigation. And what Durham put in his annex and what Kash Patel found in those burn bags, Chris Wray...
Burn bags? Like, eat fucking trash, dude. Like, come on. Is this where they said that they found a bunch of bags full of documents that the Biden admin or that Obama or that Hillary or whatever wanted burned, and so they got them all in the bags, but they just didn't get a chance to burn them all? Like, oh my God.
Never bothered to turn over to Congress. So yes, those reports may be missing something because the FBI aided and abetted the DNC. The fact that
oh my God, dude.
Jim Comey wanted Hillary Clinton to win the White House. I'm telling you, Brett, he has done
wanted her to win the White House. Comey fucking raped Hillary's campaign, probably more than any other individual. What, 2 times? The back-to-back Clinton torpedo machine. Not only did he come out, and when no formal charges were recommended, not only did he come out and make an exceptional, I think in opposition of what the Attorney General wanted, I forget her name at the time, it was a woman, right? Wait, was it 3 times? Hold on, I'm trying to think of how many, was it, I think this might just be for, hold on.
The C-SPAN networks bring you long...
So, generally, you don't know if there's an investigation because they're not going to tell you if there's an investigation, which is fair, okay? And if an investigation concludes and they don't have enough to take to a grand jury to get an indictment, you might never know anything about an investigation, with some exceptions. Some fucking lawyer retard is typing, actually, Destiny, there's certain victims involved and they have a right to information, blah, 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 fuck you. That's not what we're talking about, okay? So, Comey does the exceptional measure saying, well, I don't know if the American people are going to trust us if we don't come out and make an announcement about every fucking thing we found, even though we didn't find any crimes. And so he comes out here and he makes a statement. And it's like, okay, fine. That's fine. All right. Go ahead. You made the statement. You wrecked our shit, but we can come back from this, right? But not only does Comey come out and do this, okay? Not only does Comey come out and do this, Comey comes out a second time, okay? When Anthony Weiner, all right, the Mossad agent trying to take out the Democrats, okay? When Anthony Weiner's shit gets fucked because of the 15-year-old he was sexing or whatever, right? When that laptop gets found, somebody at the FBI is like, oh shit, there's some Hillary emails on here. And Comey, I guess, stumbles out of the FBI building in front of a camera and he's like, oh, just so you guys know, we're reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton. Why? And nothing was found. Nothing was even found. Why did you even announce that? Why did you even announce that publicly? There was no point. It was like 11 days before the election, I think. That's what this was about, right? This wasn't the first time they announced it. This was the second time when they announced it, right? Because
necessary.
Why would you do this? And you know why? The answer is, okay, and this is why, fuck Ryan, I'm just kidding, I love you, Ryan. Thank you for coming on, I appreciate it. But when Ryan is like, the Dems need to do better, the Dems need to try harder, I hope the Dems do everything they can to try to like be proper people. Truly, really, as much as I think he was misguided, that's what Comey was trying to do, because Comey was worried that if it comes out that they were investigating Hillary Clinton and they have to file charges after she's elected, nobody's going to have any faith in the FBI. They're going to think, wow, you guys were investigating a presidential candidate. You let us, the American people, vote for that candidate, and now they've won the election, and now we can't do anything about it? And you didn't announce this ahead of time that you were looking into that? Don't you think we should have known that? The American public had a right to that information. That's why he announced, that's why he announced reopening the investigation, and that's why he announced the findings of their investigation, even though they didn't recommend any charges to the Attorney General. And that's our friend. This is the guy that's helping us with friends like that. Who needs enemies? What the fuck? These are our strongest fighters? These are the strongest fighters that we have? What the fuck? Kill me. Jesus Christ. Like how much of a fucking hell Satan spawned demon piece of shit? How demonic do you have to be like, yeah, this is how Comey tried to rig it for the Democrats. Bro.
Hillary Clinton to win the White House reports may be missing something because the FBI...
And it's the rewriting of history, bro, because there was no greater time in my lifetime, maybe on the Gore stuff, in giving the election up too early, by the way, to Bush, where there was so much collective ass pain by Democrats, where it was like, why the fuck are you announcing any of this? Hello? What the fuck? Wait, hold on. Did we know at the time? We must have. I know we did. I just don't remember because I'm asked pain about this right now. Did we know at the time that Trump and his people were being investigated? Certainly we knew that, right? Crossfire Hurricane or whatever, right? We knew that investigation was ongoing, right? Somebody just say yes. Please tell me we did. Stop saying no in chat. Certainly. When was Crossfire Hurricane announced? Hold on. No. It was open on July 31st, 2016. No, but we knew it must have been announced publicly, right? It was definitely announced publicly before the election. Certainly this was announced before. Somebody link me when it was announced publicly. During the investigation, the FBI used national security letters to obtain phone records and other documents. FBI agents believing Trump would lose the election and cognizant of Trump's claims that the election was rigged against him were careful to ensure the investigation did not become public, as they feared that if Trump lost, it would. However, after the election, I should have known this off the top of my head.
Email.
This was wild.
The C-SPAN networks bring you long-form public affairs programming from the nation's capital and are a public service of your television provider. C-SPAN. Create.
Want to do today?
On cable.
Was Loretta Lynch? Why is that name coming to mind? Who was the Attorney General in 2016? Who was Attorney General 2016? It was. Okay. I think she was severely ass-paying that the FBI came out and said this, right? Why were they even allowed to? Because the FBI is part of the DOJ. I think she was opposed to this statement, right? What's the steel man for Comey doing this? This is the steel man. Nobody thought that Donald Trump was going to win the election, so everybody was You ever play a game? I'm going to share a traumatic experience as a pro gamer, okay? You ever play a game with a girlfriend and you're trying to go easy on them? Exceptional time. I don't remember. I don't know why. Because usually I'm just competitive on everything, okay? You ever go easy on somebody to try to be like, oh, it's going to be cute, it's going to be fun. And then they're actually a lot better than you thought. And then you kind of have to try to play like way harder than you actually can, because you're like, oh God, like, oh shit, I'm getting my ass whipped. And like, I was kind of trying to make this fun, but now I look like like I fucking suck. And then and now you're trying to like play from behind, and you've like fucked yourself, and it's like an unwinnable thing, right? Like you're playing Mario Kart, and you're like, oh, this will be fun, haha. Oh, they're doing okay, like in the first lap, and then they like nail like the huge jump or whatever at the beginning of the second lap, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. I'm actually going to lose this race. And then you have to spend the next part, and you're like, okay, well, listen, and they're like making fun of you, and they don't want to play again, because anytime somebody beats you, you're like, oh, no, I don't want to play anymore. It's like, okay, well, fuck me. And now you look like a fucking retard. That's what everybody thought, and you sound like you're coping like crazy, right? That's what everybody thought was going to happen with the Trump-Clinton race. People are like, there's no way that Donald Trump wins the election, right? Americans can't possibly be that fucking retarded, right? There's no way Americans are that fucking retarded. They were that retarded, and they continue to be that retarded. And so as a result of that, they're like, okay, well, the FBI, we got to make sure that we're coming down as hard as we can on Hillary and her people, and we got to be like as gentle as we can on Trump and his people. So they're making all these improper public announcements about their investigations into Hillary shit. Meanwhile, she's getting investigated out the ass, okay, being deposed, giving under oath testimony and shit. When were those Benghazi hearings? How long after? I don't think it was in 2012, was it? But like the whole email shit was just so up in America's face public, because people are like, we don't want them to think that we're trying to help Hillary win the election. But then meanwhile, while Trump is being investigated in an investigation that would eventually turn out tons of amazing indictments, tons of amazing information, tons of credible links to the Russian government, okay, through Manafort and Stone, right? That was kept under wraps. That was top secret. In fact, the only reason why we might have heard about it as soon as we did was because Donald Trump himself tried to kill the fucking investigation when he fucking fired Comey after Flynn got arrested. And Comey wouldn't kill the investigation. And then when he started shitting on Sessions because Sessions wouldn't recuse himself. And then when he started appointing new, like, what am I don't know what I'm looking for. But that's the steel man. I say steel man. I genuinely, earnestly believe that Comey is a good man, and that's what he was trying to do. But holy fuck. Oh my God.
Good morning. I'm here to give you an update on the FBI's investigation of Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email system during her time as Secretary of State. After a tremendous amount of work over the last year.
No criminal charges recommended, and we get a public announcement. You want to talk about deep state also? I believe these are good people. But if you did want to talk about deep state, who appointed Comey? That's a Republican appointee, dog, okay? At the end of his fucking 8, 9, 10 years, okay? This is a Bush, I'm pretty sure this is a Bush appointee, right? Didn't Comey come from Bush?
The FBI is completing its investigation and referring the matter to the Department of Justice for a prosecutive decision. What I want to do today is 3 things. I want to tell you what we did, I want to tell you what we found, and I want to tell you what we're recommending to the Department of Justice. This is going to be an unusual statement in at least a couple of ways.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that, buddy.
First, I'm going to include more.
This is like you tell your girlfriend, I want to try fucking half-inch butt plug, and she shows up with fucking Jamal Tyrone of the BBC Championship Leagues, okay, to fuck you in the ass. And this guy just came 15 times, so it's going to be a 2-hour ass anal wear-out session. That's what we're about to get from Comey right now, okay?
More detail about our process than I ordinarily would, because I think the American people deserve those details in a case of intense public interest.
Thank you. Meanwhile, we don't know anything about Crossfire Hurricane at this point. We're not going to find anything about it until after the election. Donald Trump and all of his people are being ardently investigated.
And second.
Oh shit, somebody said Comey is an Obama appointee in 2013. Fuck you. Then Obama's part of the fucking deep state conspiracy.
I have not coordinated this statement or reviewed it in any way with the Department of Justice.
I did it. Oh, I bet Loretta was screaming. I bet she was screaming. Now, to be fair, I think that the FBI is completely and totally independent from the Department of Justice. It's not like it's a fucking literally a subsidiary, an underbranch or whatever, an inferior office or whatever, part of the Justice Department. I'm sure it's its own completely independent thing.
Or any other part of the government. They do not know what I'm about to say. But I want to start by thanking the FBI employees.
I can't believe he made this statement. He fucked us. He fucked the world. The man who set the world on fire. Why would you do this? Comey, why would you do this? He was a Republican, yes. I know he was a Republican, but he was an Obama appointee.
You did remarkable work in this case. Once you have a better sense of how much we have done, you will understand why I am so grateful and so proud of their work. So first, what we have done. This investigation began as a referral from the Intelligence Community Inspector General in connection with Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email server during her time as Secretary of State.
That was discovered as a result of a Russian hack that was coordinated, the release of information between the Russian hacker and Roger Stone. And was also mentioned by other people in Trump's inner circle, like Flynn, who lied about communicating with Russians, and by Manafort, who was intimately connected with Russian interests in Ukraine, of which tens of millions of dollars of stuff were seized from him as a result of lying about and hiding that from the U.S. State Department. But
the referral focused on whether classified information was transmitted on that personal system. Our investigation looked at whether there is evidence that classified information was improperly stored or transmitted on that personal system in violation of a federal statute that makes it a felony to mishandle classified information, either intentionally or in a grossly negligent way, or a second statute making it a misdemeanor to knowingly remove classified information from appropriate systems or storage facilities. And consistent with our counterintelligence responsibilities, we have also investigated to determine if there is evidence of computer intrusion by nation states or by hostile actors of any kind. Now, I have so far used the singular term email server in describing the referral that began our investigation. It turns out to have been more complicated than that. Secretary Clinton used several different servers and administrators of those servers during her 4 years at the State Department. And she also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email on their personal domain. As new servers and equipment were employed, older servers were taken out of service, stored, and decommissioned.
like, if the Republicans were decent humans and not morally scrupulous, evil individuals, at the very least, they should be they should be so kind, okay? And they should be on their hands and knees thanking for the Democrats and thanking Comey for being so open and honest about their process. They should be so grateful. You know what? That took a lot of you, Comey. That took a lot of you guys to come out and make these statements. By the way, well, actually, I guess maybe you could say that maybe Comey was forced to by Trump's best friend, because who was president here? Would this have been George Bush, or would it have been another Republican, or would it have been the 8th year of Barack Obama, who was a Democrat who hated Trump and didn't want to see Trump win, and somehow his own FBI appointed director is the one that's coming out and nuking Hillary's campaign from orbit for absolutely no fucking reason in a self-admittedly historically unprecedented manner. Like, where is the deep state? Deep state, come save me. Where's the guy? Where's the guy? Deep state. Please, deep state.
Please, somebody.
Please, deep state. Please, somebody come. Please, deep state, come and save me. George Soros, where are you? Where is my deep state?
In various ways. Piecing all of that back together to gain as full an understanding as possible of the ways in which personal email was used for government work has been a painstaking undertaking, requiring thousands of hours of effort. For example, when one of Secretary Clinton's servers was decommissioned in 2013, the email software was removed. That didn't remove the email content, but it was like removing the frame from a huge unfinished jigsaw puzzle and then dumping all the pieces on the floor. The effect was that millions of email fragments ended up in the server's unused or slack space. We searched through all of it to understand what was there and what parts of the puzzle we could put back together again. The FBI investigators also read all of the approximately 30,000 emails that Secretary Clinton provided to the State Department in 2014, where an email was assessed as possibly containing classified information.
Wait. I haven't read the full Mueller report. I don't even know if we'll get to it on stream. I thought the 30,000 emails were never found. I thought we were still looking for those. Didn't Trump say, if you guys find the 30,000 emails? How many emails are even supposedly missing from Hillary Clinton? How many of these do we not even have that they talked about so much? Oh, dude, I don't know why I'm listening to this again. I want to kill myself. This is actually, we're so fucked.
The FBI referred that email to any government agency that might be...
Look at the difference. Look at the difference. We have, under Obama, our president, under Loretta Lynch, our attorney general, and then under that, our FBI's James Comey is making a public announcement where they're not even recommending charges to fuck over Hillary's campaign, compared to Kash Patel, who has written children's books, okay, about how Donald Trump is the king of the United States, who is now trying to pass off false information to the American public to convince them, I don't even know of what, to go back in on Obama and Hillary. Oh, it's to distract from the fact that Kash Patel was maybe writing those books to find future clients for Trump to fuck, maybe? I don't know.
An owner of that information so that agency can make a determination as to whether the email contained classified information at the time it was sent or received, or whether there was reason to classify it now, even if the content had not been classified when it was first sent or received. And that's the process sometimes referred to as up-classifying. From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information.
Of the 30,000 emails, 102, is that what he said? That was 102, right?
Emails. In 50,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails.
110 of 30,000.
In 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. 8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent. 36 of those chains contained secret information at the time, and 8 contained confidential information at the time. That's the lowest level of classification. Separate from those, about 2,000 additional emails were up-classified to make them confidential. Those emails had not been classified at the time that they were sent or received. The FBI also discovered several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton to State in 2000.
I don't know if we ever got to see what these looked like, but the statement from Hillary, and I think others have said it, was that sometimes you might get like an email, and like either in the no, it wasn't in the subject line. It was either in like near the top of it or at the bottom of it. You might see like this, which means it's like classified. So not to say that it's good. Obviously, this is not great behavior. People shouldn't be conducting business on private servers like this. If it's, well, they shouldn't be having classified information on these types of servers, obviously. But the signal leaks make me want to kill myself. Like, that was not accident, by accident. The signal shit was intentional dissemination of the most classified information. I can't think of much more classified information than an incoming or than a soon to come. What am I thinking of? Than a near in the future military strike. There's a word I'm looking for. And we got nothing from that. Impending, yeah. What's the name of the weirdo, Joey?
Let's just get that straight. So he's saying it's a close personal friend.
Okay.
These are lines that the Democrats have to use because they have nothing. But at the end of the day, Trump and the Epstein files, that's a big issue that Pam Bondi is going to have to reckon with, and MAGA is very angry about that. So I wouldn't say anything about Epstein files and cult. That's just craziness.
All right, let's move on and refocus our
Wait, can
attention
we get a
back.
prediction? Do you think that Bondi will get kicked out? I'm serious. I'd like to hear that on the record. I don't think Bondi's going anywhere. Just like Hexet isn't going anywhere after the signal chat leaks. Do you think that Bondi's actually going to get, I guess, like, I don't know.
Do I think Bondi's going to get out? I have no idea. I really, on the record, I can't tell you if she's going to get thrown out. She should be thrown out. My opinion is she should be thrown out.
I'll say it. She won't be. She absolutely won't be. There will be no accountability. I thought that didn't I also make a prediction on this a while ago over the signal chat stuff? That nobody important would be fired or resign? I thought I did for the signal chat stuff. This is for the Epstein stuff. But, sorry. Okay.
2014. We found those.
The problem is we can't buy any technical we can't put any technical requirements on politicians since they are elected, even though every one of them would probably fail a standard phishing email. Well, that was the issue, and I think Comey will go on to say, is that the State Department in general has had issues with a lot of people kind of have lax security standards at the State Department that they need to be a little bit better on. But nobody remembers that part. They just hear Hillary Clinton classified information.
Among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton to State in 2014. We found those emails in a variety of ways. Some have been deleted over the years, and we found traces of them on servers or devices that have been connected to the private email domain. Others we found by reviewing the archived government accounts of people who'd been government employees at the same time as Secretary Clinton, including high-ranking officials at other agencies, folks with whom a Secretary of State might normally correspond. This helped us recover work-related emails that were not among the 30,000 that were produced to State. Still others we recovered from that painstaking review of the millions of email fragments dumped into the Slack space of the server that was decommissioned in 2013. With respect to the thousands of emails we found that were not among those produced to the State Department, agencies have concluded that 3 of those were classified at the time they were sent or received, 1 at the secret level and 2 at the confidential level. There were no additional top secret emails found, and finally none of those we found have since been up-classified. I should add here that we found no evidence that any of the additional work-related emails were intentionally deleted in an effort to conceal them in some way. Our assessment is that, like many email users, Secretary Clinton periodically deleted emails, or emails were purged from her system when devices were changed. Because she was not using a government account, or even a commercial account like Gmail, there was no archiving at all of her emails. So it's not surprising that we discovered emails that were not on Secretary Clinton's system in 2014 when she produced those 30,000 some emails to state. It could also be that some of the additional work-related emails...
When it says when she produced, right, that means that she made them available in discovery or on command of subpoena. She provided that information, right? So she could have not, if you're saying that she intentionally was trying to hide all of this, which is what conservatives and Rob Norris and all of the degenerate fucks try to claim, that they try to not cooperate, but that's just not true.
Emails that we recovered were among those deleted as personal by her lawyers when they reviewed and sorted her emails for production in late 2014. The lawyers doing the sorting for Secretary Clinton in 2014 did not individually read the content of all of her emails as we did for those available to us. Instead, they relied on header information, and they used search terms to try to find all work-related emails among the reportedly more than 60,000 that were remaining on her system at the end of 2014. It's highly likely that their search missed some work-related emails and that we later found them, for example, in the mailboxes of other officials or in the Slack space of a server. It's also likely that there are other work-related emails that they did not produce to state and that we did not find elsewhere and that are now gone, because they deleted all emails they did not produce to state, and the lawyers then cleaned their devices in such a way as to preclude complete forensic recovery. We have conducted interviews and done technical examination to attempt to understand exactly how that sorting was done by her attorneys. Although we don't have complete visibility because we're not able to fully reconstruct the electronic record of that sorting, we believe our investigation has been sufficient to give us reasonable confidence there was no intentional misconduct in connection with that sorting effort. And of course, in addition to our technical work, we interviewed many people, from those involved in setting up the personal email system and maintaining the various iterations of Secretary Clinton's server, to staff members with whom she corresponded on email, to those involved in email production to state, and finally Secretary Clinton herself. Last, we have done extensive work to try to understand what indications there might be of compromise by hostile actors in connection with that personal email system. So that's what we've done. Now let me tell you what we found. Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. For example, 7 email chains concern matters that were classified at the top secret special access program at the time they were sent and received. Those chains involve Secretary Clinton both sending emails about those matters and receiving emails about those same matters. There is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or in the position of those with whom she was corresponding about those matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation. In addition to this highly sensitive information, we also found information that was properly classified as secret by the U.S. intelligence community at the time it was discussed on email. That is, excluding any later up-classified emails. None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system, but their presence is especially concerning because all of these emails were housed on unclassified personal servers, not even supported by full-time security staff like those found at agencies and departments of the United States government, or even with a commercial email service like Gmail. I think it's also important to say something about the marking of classified information. Only a very small number of the emails here containing classified information bore markings that indicated the presence of classified information.
That's an important one.
But even if information is not marked classified in an email, participants who know or should know, a small number.
What did he say?
I think it's also important to say something about the marking of classified information. Only a very small number of the emails here containing classified information bore markings that indicated the presence of classified.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So I lied to you when I said that the marking sometimes wasn't obvious on all of these emails. That was a lie, because I'm fucking retarded, okay? The majority of them weren't even marked as classified.
Classified information. But even if information is not marked classified in an email, participants who know or should know that the subject matter is classified are still obligated to protect it. And while not the focus of our investigation, we also developed evidence that the security culture of the State Department, in general, and with respect to the use of unclassified systems in particular, was generally lacking in the kind of care for classified information that's found elsewhere in the U.S. government. With respect to potential computer intrusion by hostile actors,
do you ever think about how this release was the nail in Hillary's coffin? How different would the world be if not for this effing press release? No! She could have still won after this. We'll do the nail after. We're not at the nail yet, okay?
We did not find direct evidence that Secretary Clinton's personal email domain, in its various configurations since 2009, was hacked successfully. But given the nature of the system and of the actors potentially involved, we assess we would be unlikely to see such direct evidence. We do assess that hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account. We also assess that Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email domain was both known by a large number of people and readily apparent.
And her email system didn't even get fucking hacked, like the DNC servers did.
She also used her personal email extensively while outside the United States, including sending and receiving work-related emails in the territory of sophisticated adversaries. Given that combination of factors, we assess it is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account. So that's what we found. Finally,
like, why would you even say that? This whole statement is just so insane.
With respect to our recommendation to the Department of Justice. In our system, the prosecutors make the decisions about whether charges are appropriate based on evidence that the FBI helps collect. Although we don't normally make public our recommendations to the prosecutors, we frequently make recommendations and engage in productive conversations with prosecutors about what resolution may be appropriate given the evidence. In this case, given the importance of the matter, I think unusual transparency is in order. Although there is evidence of potential violations.
I'm coming, yes. Unusual, yes, King. Thank you, King. Thank you. Unusual transparent. Hold on, wait a second. Oh, sorry. I just had to update real quick on a secret investigation that I can't talk to you at all about. Woo! We're going to love to hear the outcome of this in a year, guys. Trust me, you're going to love this one, but I can't talk about it right now, okay? Anyway, back to Hillary.
Conversations with prosecutors about what resolution may be appropriate given the evidence. In this case, given the importance of the matter, I think unusual transparency is in order. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Prosecutors necessarily weigh a number of factors before deciding whether to bring charges. There are obvious considerations like the strength of the evidence, especially regarding intent. Responsible decisions also consider the context of a person's actions and how similar situations have been handled in the past. In looking back at our investigations into the mishandling or removal of classified information, we cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts. All the cases prosecuted involved some...
Just so you know, if Kash Patel were to make a statement like this about Donald Trump, if Trump's FBI head was, he would be assassinated live on TV. Just in case you're wondering, the different standards here, okay?
Combination of clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information or vast quantities of information exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct or indications of disloyalty to the United States or efforts to obstruct justice. We do not see those things here.
Okay, I don't know your age, and I'm not saying that to be dismissive, okay, because just genuinely a lot of people just don't know if you weren't alive at the time, okay? So I'm not trying to be mean. But somebody donated and said, I don't know, to be honest, but do you really think Comey had that much of an effect on Hillary's campaign? I feel like most Americans wouldn't understand or care. Hillary's emails dominated 6 months of fucking news, okay, leading up to the election. This was like one of the only fucking things we fucking talked about. Yeah, absolutely, yes. It was a massive part of the media cycle. It wouldn't surprise me if the Hillary email thing was, that alone was larger than the next 5 issues combined when it came to election coverage leading up to the election. I'm not exaggerating. This got so much coverage. It was unbelievable. And which is also one of the reasons why, if you're old enough to remember, it's one of the reasons why you should have been so fucking upset that Signal chat thing was a nothing burger. That the head editor of the fucking Atlantic, Goldblum or whatever, ended up in that fucking call was unbelievable. And then none of the Republicans cared because they don't give a fuck about anything because they are selfish hellspawn. They don't care about anything besides themselves and their own political careers.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences. To the contrary, those individuals are often subject to security or administrative sanctions, but that's not what we're deciding now. As a result, although the Department of Justice makes final decisions on matters like this,
September 19th, 2016, email dominates what Americans have heard about Clinton. Princeton, New Jersey. Americans' reports of what they have heard, seen, read, seen, or heard about Hillary Clinton over the past 2 months are dominated by references to her handling of emails while she was Secretary of State. By contrast, Americans' reports of what they have read, seen, or heard about Donald Trump over this same period have been more varied and related to his campaign activities and statements. The Americans' frequent mention of email in response to the question about Hillary Clinton are followed by lie, health, speech, scandal, and foundation. The latter referencing recent concerns about conflicts of interest with the Clinton Foundation. Conflicts of interest? Actually, unbelievable. Unbelievable. The top substantive words Americans use when reporting on Trump include speech, president, immigration, Mexico, convention, campaign, and Obama. Though Clinton has attacked Trump on several issues related to his character, no specific words representing negative traits have stuck to Trump the way the word email has to Clinton.
We are expressing to justice our view that no charges are appropriate in this case. I know there will be intense public debate in the wake of this recommendation, as there was throughout the investigation. What I can assure the American people is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear. I know there were many opinions expressed by people who are not part of the investigation, including people in government, but none of that mattered to us. Opinions are irrelevant, and they were all uninformed by insight into our investigation because we did our investigation the right way. Only facts matter, and the FBI found them here in an entirely apolitical and professional way. I couldn't be prouder to be part of this organization. Thank you very much.
That's not the nail in Hillary's
You said earlier in this
campaign, by the way. That wasn't it. So he came and he made this big old announcement. This nothing burger got announced. And that was it. And then 11 days before the election. 11 days before the election. 11 days before the election. When Anthony Weiner got arrested, some Hillary emails were apparently found on his laptop. And Comey decides to publicly state that they are reopening the investigation. They didn't find anything also in that either, by the way. The new development in the saga over, listen to the difference, by the way, also on how these handle things, by the way. Listen to the difference in how they handle things, okay? The new development in the saga over Mrs. Clinton's handling of classified information comes months after the FBI closed the investigation without charging Mrs. Clinton. The announcement, less than 2 weeks before the election, left Mrs. Clinton's team furious and scrambling for explanations while bolstering the spirits of Donald J. Trump after a wave of controversies and Republican defectors had led many to write him off. Quote, "We are calling on the FBI to release all the information that it has," end quote, Mrs. Clinton said adamantly in an evening news conference that took issue with Mr. Comey for making the disclosure so close to the election. Quote, "Let's get it out," end quote. How did this get so much coverage when all he said was that there was some misconduct by multiple people, but nothing worthy of prosecution? Because what I said before, and this is such an unpopular talking point, and I know even if you fuckers don't admit it, even you guys cringe when I say this because you're like, ooh, I think Destiny's being too partisan here. Voters care about the things that you tell them to care about, unless it's a thing that they abso-fucking-lutely cannot deny because it's right in front of their fucking face. So like inflation is hard to lie about, okay? You see it when you go to the store when you buy shit, okay? But when it comes to abstract matters like illegal immigration at the border, if you're in a fucking swing state, the things that you feel have to do with what the media is telling you. Nobody wants to admit that, and nobody wants to talk about that because you're basically saying the average voter is a fucking retard. But the things that will dominate voters' minds are what you tell them. That's why so many people cared about these fucking emails. Even though it was a nothing burger, the Republicans wanted you to obsess over them. That's why people talked about it so fucking much.